Starfleet Academy has proven itself, so far, to be the antithesis of the storytelling style of that other series set in the 32nd century by abandoning the relentless pursuit of plot, resolved, of course, by
Michael Burnham, Savior of the Galaxy!
Instead, we've been treated to individual episodes, wrapped up storylines, big themes, and a focus on learning about each of our cadets and who they are rather than rushing the plot. This week, we're getting our Klingon on with an episode about what happened to the Klingon Empire through the eyes of our cadet, Jaden Krang, and how the shy, possibly queer cadet will raise his voice up for his people in the 4th episode of Starfleet Academy, Vox and Excelso. Also, Kapla, bitches! This is Treknicity. Welcome to Treknicity, a Star Trek podcast, where we explore the Star Trek multiverse, one mission at a time. I'm your host, Patrick Murray, and joining me, currently experiencing beige, is Kat Drake. We have the Bachtag, James Mottershead, and of course, the Patak of Pataks, Lars Di Scenza.
Only a Varu would use that kind of language when the ladies are around.
Ooh.
Thank you.
Them fighting words, Lars. Them's fighting words.
In this episode, we go to battle to sing the praises of episode 4 of Starfleet Academy, Vox in Excelso. Or Excelso. I don't know. We're figuring out the pronunciation. We're going with Excelso because it sounds cooler.
Yeah, I like how James is just on low key down there, just correcting your pronunciation. It's like we've got the grammar teacher over there going.
To be fair,
It's me, sir.
James is more well spoken than I am. Although that's probably because he's a bit further down south than
It
me.
doesn't take a lot to be fair, Cat.
Okay, so
Yeah, he's a southerner. He's
So-
a dirty little southerner.
okay, basically the way it sounds to me is when James speaks, it sounds like you're cutting through fine satin and linen with a beautiful pair of sharpened shears. It sounds like I'm going through fucking butter with a chainsaw.
Or bucking butter, one of the two.
Hey, look, if you really, really want, I'll
Tell
just
me
do
what
the
I want,
entire
what you
podcast
really,
with a
really want.
Boston accent.
No, please. No West Country.
No, not West Country, Boston.
Oh, no.
Yeah, we hate you forever now.
No.
What's wrong, pal?
Get out.
You don't want
Right,
to
what
fight
are
me
we
down in
doing?
the harbour?
Is it Carlos or Carlish?
Hey, is it Kalesh or Kalesh? I don't know.
Carl.
If you disagree with me, I'll fight you in the harbour.
And join us now as we warp into spoiler territory. You have been warned.
Red alert.
Red alarm.
Red alarm.
So this episode is a welcome respite from San Francisco. So we're 4 episodes in, and we're finally back in space on board the Athena.
Athena in space.
Athena in space. So they're in a nebula, doing some studying as part of the training, and classes in session. So the Doctor is then teaching the cadets the art of a good old debate. And makes a classic reference to none other than one of the best TNG episodes ever created, Drumhead. referring to the speech that Picard made, but obviously he was referencing the great and glorious Judge Aaron Satie.
With the first link, the chain is forged. The first speech censured, the first thought forbidden, the first freedom denied, chains us all irrevocably. Those words were uttered by Judge Aaron Satie as wisdom and warning. The first time any man's freedom is trodden on, we're all damaged.
So we're having a debate competition, pushing the cadets to argue opposing viewpoints using Federation regulations. While Caleb excels, Jaden struggles. So we see him suffering with a lot of anxiety and has a panic attack on the podium, pouring with sweat. Afterwards, Caleb tries to comfort him, and the conversation hints at Jaden's complicated past with his family and all the classic traditional Klingon warrior traits, and the family issues. So it teases a lot of those things out. That calm is then shattered when Arcade delivers news that Jaden's family may have been caught in an accident among displaced Klingon refugees. And that's how the episode sets us up. So we're in for a very, very Klingon-oriented episode at this point.
So I want to ask, I mean, forgive me if I missed something along the way. Did they actually, did you say during a conversation we had offline last week, James, about Kronos, what happened to the planet? Because, I mean, other than what happened to the planet, you know, during the Praxis incident.
Sorry, I've farted.
I have an energy wave at 240 degrees Mark 6 port, sir. Visual.
They don't. I don't recall there ever being anything specific that said what had happened to the planet that they all had to, you know, they all had to get out of Dodge.
Yeah, so I think after rewatching this episode, there's a bit of a throwaway remark. I think it was by Genesis where they talk about the burn causing an absolute catastrophe on the planet, and it essentially blows up. So we find out that Kronos is no longer, and
it's not blown to pieces. It's basically uninhabitable, more or less.
Yeah, by the end of it, the Klingon race is essentially dying. They're virtually becoming extinct, and there's only a few great houses left. So
Admiral Cartwright would be smiling.
Wouldn't he just?
That's evil.
Wouldn't he just? But I mean, the one topic of debate I wanted to come up and just clear this up once and for all is it Kahless or Kailash? There's a lot of references to Kahless that comes up in this episode, and we'll get more into it. But for everybody on this right now, what would you say? Kahless or Kailash?
Kailash.
I will say yes.
Sounds more Klingon.
Okay,
If we're in TNG and if we're in the original series or TNG territory, I'm going to go with Kahless. If we're dealing with in the sort of 32nd century, I'm going to go with Kailash simply because that seems to be a pronunciation thing they've gone with. Even if it did start in Discovery, it makes sense that the language would have evolved over 900 years.
Well, and it's also important to remember that the Klingon language, how they handled it, is very much how they treat the pronunciation, or I should say, the Americanization not just so much English, but particularly Americanization of the names of places from other languages. So with Klingon, with the Klingon language, a lot of certain words are said differently in English than they are actually from their Klingon spelling. But just like I said, when I was actually saying the Klingon homeworld, I wasn't saying Kronos, because the English, or sorry, Galactic Standard would pronounce it Kronos, spelled Kronos, but the planet's spelling is capital Q-O-N-O capital S, and in the Klingon language, that capital S is the sh sound. Okay, the Q is the k, not the k, but the k sound. So it's Kronos. So, and the thing is, the name of the Klingons, they're actually not Klingons. They're in their own language. It's actually Klingon. But in a way, the Galactic Standard language has kind of bastardized it, if you like, into a way that's easier to pronounce and enunciate. So you can call it both. I mean, it could be Kahless, as in because it's spelled in Galactic Standard K-A-H-L-E-S-S. But English would also be acceptable
pronunciation
because it ends with the double S.
Yeah.
Can we go back and visit the whole Mugato thing?
Shut up, Patrick.
Anyway, moving on.
Moving on.
As the wider situation becomes clear about the Klingons, the episode reveals the Klingons' dire position following the burn. So obviously, Kronos is no more. The numbers are dwindling, and they've rejected Federation aid. Through various different flashbacks that we see with Jaden, he goes back to a planet called Krios Prime, wasn't it?
Yep. That's
where
about right.
we start seeing a bit more of the dynamic and a bit more about Jaden's character unfold. So it's shown in contrast to the present. He's raised in a refugee camp. He was expected by his father to follow the Klingon warrior path, while his brother secretly encouraged his dream of joining Starfleet and becoming a healer. So, I mean, we already got that in the early episode, in episode 1, in fact, that Jaden's kind of Klingon aspect and his traits are a little bit opposite to what we would normally see out of a Klingon. He yearns to learn, not die with honor. We then see a flashback of his brother dying, and that's because he's gone to the market and tried to get some Federation tech for Jaden, and his father is dead angry over the whole situation and puts a lot of blame on Jaden. And this is obviously weighing quite heavily on him. So back in class, the debate competition continues. So Jaden insists the Klingon crisis be the topic. So everyone's kind of dancing around the fact that obviously there's been this catastrophe and the Klingons are virtually becoming extinct. And they're all dancing around Jaden quite a lot. And Jaden kind of picks up on this and gets really narked at everybody for doing it and kind of tackles it head on. And he wants the Klingon crisis to actually be the topic of this debate competition that the Doctor is facilitating. So he chooses to argue that the Klingons should reject Federation assistance, placing himself directly opposite from Caleb, who is encouraging that the Klingons accept the Federation aid and saves them. As Jaden prepares, he pushes away help, reliving memories of loss and cultural conflict. Guidance comes unexpectedly from Duran, who teaches him this battle breathing technique, which we'll do in a minute, helping him find focus and confidence. Who can remember the battle breathing technique?
Isn't there another way? He's just a boy!
Oh, sorry, wrong one. Go ahead, somebody else. Please.
No, it's
Great.
that
Stroking
that
in the
thing.
middle of it.
I don't know. Me trying to say it, it just sounds like me after a night at Spoons. So it's like,
Cha.
yes.
All I know is Jaden and Asshole were kind of getting real close.
But Jaden kind of reluctantly accepts some of that help, I think, during that scene, but then pushes away because I couldn't quite understand the reason why he was pushing back from that. I think it was the whole concept of Klingons accepting help from outsiders. I think was the general running theme of that, and he was resisting getting any outside help. And then obviously getting fixated on this device that was broken into pieces at the time.
Because his dad's a dick.
Yeah, and we later find that out, don't we, in terms of what happens on the flashbacks of that. But at the same time, RK then attempts to negotiate with a Klingon leader she once knew. So that was, what's his name? General Wochok.
Yes.
Wojak?
Yeah, sure. We'll go with that.
Now, obviously, they've known each other from a past relationship. Certainly,
boy, they knew each other.
Yeah, that was almost like Worf and Dax level sexual tension going on there between the two of them. But she's trying her best to urge him to accept a new planet offered by the Federation. They've got, a planet going spare and basically want the Klingons to come and colonize and save themselves. He refuses, arguing that Klingons can only unite through conquest, not charity. The meeting ends without resolution, deepening concerns about the Klingons' future. I definitely got kind of, you've already got Drumhead thrown into this with the whole debate competition. You've got undiscovered country themes with Klingons having an existential crisis all over again.
Have they become the trash of the galaxy? Oh, wait a minute. That's good old Admiral Cartwright.
Galaxy.
Alien trash of the galaxy.
With a foothold on our territory. Come on, man. If you're going to quote the movie, quote the movie.
You want the truth? You can't handle the truth.
I'm going to pick apart this little thing a little bit, just a little bit, because we are 900 plus years ahead of where things were in the Berman era of Star Trek does not mean that the Klingons have changed so fundamentally that they couldn't figure out, like at square one, how to get them to take this planet. Now, I mean, we're already going to talk about how this whole thing plays out, so I won't say too much more. But I want to call really bullshit on the whole thing of them saying, "Well, they're just going to take it from us." You guys, the Klingons have been one of the biggest adversaries and one of the biggest allies of the Federation in the last 1,500 years, maybe 1,200 years. Okay. You guys know them. The burn didn't blow out everybody's memory. It didn't blow out all tech or history. Like, I mean, come on. They all knew how Klingons operate. They didn't change. They haven't changed. They may have changed how they look for different series and stuff like that, but their general disposition has always been the same. These guys live and breathe pride. Pride through conquest, pride through victory. They don't accept something given. They take what they want. So you have to think like a Klingon, and I will say no more.
I would counterpoint that, to be fair, except for a few people, most of them have really not had much experience with the Klingons because it's been over a century since everybody got cut off due to the burn. And perhaps they forgot the nuance. They looked at the Klingons as a warrior race, but they were trying to say, how can we get you to work with us rather than the way we
Yeah,
used to do it.
Fighting us.
maybe that's the simplest explanation that you can come up with, right? Because I think burn aside, a lot of time has gone past, so I think a lot of people in Starfleet and in the Federation would have had that kind of cultural disconnect from them. So all they've really got to glean from is what they can glean out of history books. I guess there's a difference between reading it on paper and reading it firsthand in the dynamic that you then see between RK and the General.
I mean, even look at what happened with Earth and with Beta Z and Navarre.
A lot of shit's gone down.
Yeah,
a lot of shit has gone down. But the thing is that, you know, races don't change fundamentally.
Oh no, I agree. I agree with the points that you made, Lars.
well,
Totally.
Navarre got a little weird once the Romulans showed up, but
So anyway, so it's back to the debate. So we actually get to the debate now.
with Caleb, who's a master debater.
Yeah, he is.
That's you, Patrick. You're the master debater.
Well,
He is quite the master debater, though.
maybe Caleb is a cunning linguist.
But you do see some of the traits that RK was claiming that he had kind of get teased out in this episode a lot more, because you know he can cite regulation off the it just rolls off the tongue. He clearly knows a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
It holds his own in all of these debates that we see. But during the debate, so tensions erupt. Jaden and Caleb move beyond abstract arguments into deeply personal territory. I mean, you see them walk from each of their podiums towards each other, and it just gets gradually more and more aggressive, forcing the Doctor to halt the proceedings. Afterwards, Thok
Fight or fuck, but oh well.
Thok comes to see Jaden in his quarters and offers him a new perspective on the past. So, you know, he goes into the whole explanation of what happened with his father. His father took him out for a hunt, insisted that he saw a bird of prey flying in the sky, and insists that Jaden kills it there and then. With that amazing looking bow, but he refuses, and he forces his father to then try and take the kill shot on his own, and he misses. But then Thok kind of tries to explain his father's position and suggested that his father may have deliberately released him from the warrior path rather than rejecting him by missing that shot. And it's one of those lines of, you know, Klingons don't miss by accident, or something along those lines. This insight really does help Jaden, but you see this dynamic between Thok and Jaden finally form up, because obviously they've not had a huge amount of interaction up that point over the last couple of episodes, and I thought that was really lovely to see. That side of Thok, it was a bit more nurturing than the harsh, shrill drill sergeant that she's become over the last few episodes.
Look,
yeah.
as far as this whole debate goes, it's a tough situation. Yes, I do say that Caleb did actually hold his own, but realistically, anybody who has a conscience at all knows that this is not a debate between trying to understand Klingons as a culture versus trying to, you know, help them avoid extinction. This very much gave me the vibe that we're trying to, you know, one side is trying to convince everybody that the Renaissance was a much better time than the Dark Ages, and the other side is trying to convince everybody that it's okay to club baby seals.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I think it just made me lose my train of thought there.
We are not clubbing baby seals.
Yeah, we're definitely not.
What the fuck?
But that's
I was just going to make a joke about master debaters holding their own.
but that's my whole point is that it is fundamentally clear in a good debate. Both sides present very valid arguments as to why something is good to go in their direction. So when Jaden is trying to explain and trying to debate his position from the perspective of a Klingon trying to resolve a Klingon problem, I mean, it's nearly impossible to go, well, what does he really know? I mean, does he really have any good perspective on this? Does he really know what he's talking about? No.
I'm gonna slightly butcher a Dave Chappelle quote, but Klingon problems require Klingon solutions.
I mean, I did really like this.
Apparently, Cat is going to grab the Voyager and ram it into your house. Yeah. We got it last episode.
Yeah.
More Voyager ramming.
So, you're like, I mean, it's not a situation where you're like, hey,
sure, Kirk Ramsey.
I really can't buy what this guy, I can't pick up what this guy is putting down. But this guy over here, I mean, I could see myself with a nice aluminum bag going splat, splat, splat. No, it's completely opposite of it. It's like, that makes me think. And that's you're a fucktard. I mean, it is black and white. I mean, we're talking Sharon level differences here. It is down the middle, one side right, one side wrong. Not even like a gray in the middle.
Kind of debate aside, I think Jaden's speech towards the end of the whole debate session was quite well done. Obviously, he's gone through a bit of an identity crisis during the whole course of this episode. Not trying to figure out, not being comfortable about his Klingon roots, misunderstanding, feeling abandoned by his family. And I think Thok really, really gets through to him to make him understand some of the stuff that he may have misinterpreted in the past. So it all kind of finishes in this grand gesture that he then makes to everybody in the atrium, where he talks about his brother, he talks about being Klingon, and he talks about this problem being a Klingon problem requiring a Klingon solution. And he comes up with what we then find out is this masterful ruse. So scanning forward from there, we then find Jaden and RK on the bridge. After obviously whatever proposed solution he's come up with has been agreed, he's eagerly, well, I say nervously and eagerly awaiting the outcome of all this. And then we see the Athena take its, I'm just going to dub it, the saucer section of that, and warps away into the colony planet that they're proposing
that
the
was
Klingons
cool.
take over. Yeah, I did like that. I really did like that.
Ditch the kids, take your central starship.
Yeah. So when the Athena arrives at the planet, the Federation then stages this confrontation. So we see Vance kind of accusing the general of invading their territory, and then by definition they end up just declaring war on the Klingons. I love the look of what the general, because I think it suddenly dawns on him that this is a ruse, and he plays along. So Federation fleet comes in, the Klingon fleet comes in, and this, I'm just going to call it play fighting, then ensues.
It's a battle.
We have this battle for all of about 5 minutes before the Federation just go, please stop tickling us. We surrender.
Tickle fight.
Yeah, it was a tickle fight.
Sarcastaball.
It was essentially a tickle fight in space.
But But it lets the
So-
Klingons rationalize taking the planet.
But obviously after this stage confrontation and then this mock victory, allowing the Klingons to appear to win through battle rather than acceptance of aid, they then conquer the planet that the Federation wanted them to colonize.
We're using a lot of air quotes here.
So the
We are.
the general says he claims it as spoils of war
Air
of the
qu-
5-minute
spoils
war.
of war.
Yeah.
Air
Hey.
quotes are the bitch of this episode, aren't they?
It's a good way of them basically saving face. It was a good.
War is war, no matter how long it is. Which
So
is definitely not what Patrick tells people in bed.
I'm telling you,
that
the-
require to have people in my bed.
you know, like they say, like there's certain quotes about the reality of how dangerous war is. For this one, it would have been war is heck.
War is like totally friggin' not cool, dude. War, Loki, kind of bad.
I mean, the spaceships might as well have just been sharks with freaking laser beams on them for all it really mattered.
Give me $1 million, or I will use sharks with frickin' laser beams to kill you all.
1 million bars of gold press latinum.
Would those
But then
sharks have been hoisted into orbit because of a Sharknado, though?
Yes. Yes. Double yes.
Cyborg sharks in a Sharknado. All the sharks have
In space.
If that
laser
movie comes out-
guns, and they're all in space.
if that
It was
movie
Meg.
comes out, I swear I'm
Meg.
suing them.
So we get to the final scene anyway. So the general and the admiral are then shaking hands and accepting the Federation's very unwilling surrender, and then obviously that the ruse they cut through it and start just talking honestly about the situation. And the general obviously shows a lot of gratitude to RK and to Jaden for helping them save face and helping them ultimately save the Klingon race from extinction.
Helping him see clearly now.
So, I mean, the lovely scene then after that is then General beams in. I love that whole beaming in of the weapon.
I honor you, Jaden Krag, with a weapon of a true Klingon warrior.
In his hands. That was a really powerful moment where he then presents Jaden with this weapon. And then obviously the even better news that his family are alive and well.
Yay.
It was a nice ending.
Here's
albeit
your family's not dead.
yeah. Albeit
far, bitch.
a little bit predictable, but it ends well. And then we cut to the scene where Jaden and Caleb, even though obviously they've been at odds during the course of the entire episode, they're sat at the stairs watching out the window. They're clearly at war, apologizing to one another. I think Jaden then talks about similarities between Caleb and his brother, and I think it's just been a little bit too close for comfort. Caleb then presents Jaden with that damaged Federation device, which had an audio of Starfleet Academy recruitment pitch.
With Stephen Colbert, of course, because you always use Colbert.
Yes.
I mean, it was a lovely ending to end like that, and then obviously it ends with Colbert's voiceover. The end. That was it.
Yeah, when in doubt, end with Colbert.
You know
It
what would
always
have been hilarious? Would have been totally hilarious is if they would have shown because and I know that we tend to leave politics out of this podcast, and I swear I'm only dipping my toe in here. Apparently, when the first 2 episodes of Starfleet Academy was released, there was some negative reviews from our current American administration on how they need to go.
Oh, who
back
cares
and
what
get
those
William.
idiots say?
You need to get William Shatner in there to revive Star Trek, because of course, Star Trek is too woke now. Well, the thing
That was a
is,
Fucking
Nosferatu.
cheesy
Yeah.
what's it said that.
Yeah. that would no, that would
Nosferatu, Stephen Miller.
Stephen Miller, yeah,
Oh.
better known as Nosferatu.
Yeah.
But it would have been hilarious if they would have just had a throwaway shot right at the end where they show somebody watching some sort of feed or some sort of entertainment channel or something on a screen, and it shows that in the 32nd century that fucking Stephen Colbert show is still going.
Yeah.
Except it's just like it's a
hologram now. He's like,
yeah, it's just a hologram version.
You know,
Oh no,
I just I mean, that would be the biggest, beautiful middle finger.
it would. But you know what would be even funnier? Is if they brought back, well, is if they did it, but it was Jimmy Kimmel as a hologram.
Or Jimmy Kimmel and Colbert were co-hosting.
That would be perfect.
Yes! Jimmy Kimmel and Stephen Colbert just as
Or
hologram.
even better, we graft them two together so they're all one creature, and they're kind of like, let's see here. We Tuvix
Jimmy
Colbert and
We Tuvix
them. Yes. We
Jimmy
Tuvix them.
Colbimmel. Jimmy Colbimmel.
Yes. And we
Or Stemmy Colbimmel.
Okay, this is
No,
going
you lost
slowly,
me
and I
now.
like
Yeah,
it.
you lost me there. Okay,
But yeah,
I picked
Tuvixing them is the answer.
So, final thoughts on this episode. Let's go round robin and see what we all thought. Kat, start with you. What we all thought.
You know what? Great episode altogether. I like the little flashbacks where we find out why Jaden is, this soft-spoken walking teddy bear individual that he is. It's nice to kind of see a Klingon that isn't all yarg, blah, 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 war, death, blood wine. Bleh. Like, it's nice to see
I'm sure like
a Klingon who isn't like that. At the same time, though, kind of feels like the episode dragged on a little bit too much. If you get what I'm saying, like, we don't need this constant back and forth and the whole.
Patrick, what were your thoughts?
Few things that we might have missed. The beginning shot. In the very beginning, we get a speech from Ake as she's looking out on the nebula, really talking because they're out on their cruise, and it's such a Starfleet speech. This was a solid episode because we get to see Jaden being Klingon, both while he doesn't partake in actual killing. You can see when he gets fired up that Klingon comes out. It is solid and it is awesome. When the Klingon fleet shows up for the battle, the Klingon theme starts playing in glorious.
I love that.
Klingon fleet is warping in now.
The Klingon theme. We haven't heard that. We haven't heard that yet in the Kurtzman era, and now we get it, and it is the most beautiful thing. That was the holy shit I'm cheering moment. The point getting to here is that this really set in, and we got to know this character really well.
No, 100%.
Versus last episode, where his biggest contribution was, I like things with blood in them.
Yeah. Well,
And awkward wingman to get so that somebody could get his Betazoid princess. Anyway,
Get his rocks off, as they call it.
Yep.
I think understanding his backstory really helps me understand the character that is Jaden. I mean, this isn't a new concept. We've seen more sensitive healer style Klingons before, in episodes of Enterprise. Phlox meets the Klingon doctor who creates Klingon augments, and we've seen themes of that in the past where Klingons are not all from the warrior caste, but it was good to understand his identity and his backstory a lot more. I got him after this episode, and that was the beautiful thing about it. I really did understand him as a Klingon now. But no, yeah, definitely some of the Easter eggs that I saw in this, the Klingon music. Lars, final thoughts for you?
So one thing that has been difficult for me in the last decade or more, watching stories being told, I love the fact that they used this backdrop of the debate as a way of providing more exposition on Jaden as a character and also the Klingons as a race. But as I said in my previous criticism, it did get a little convoluted. The idea, it was a very slow burn. They had to come across like, hey, it took all of that for us to be told that the solution to this problem had to be a Klingon solution. It couldn't be what the Federation told him it was. And I'm like, no shit, Sherlock. Now, how they went about it, okay, fine. It's good. I mean, we got a few little things in there, like you said. You got the Klingon battle theme in there that we had not heard in the Kurtzman era yet. That kind of like, ooh, this is cool. But ultimately, I think the best part of this for me was that it underscored a concept that people seem to keep ignoring, and that is that Klingons, they live for conquest, and it doesn't matter. It is honor and glory through defeating their enemy. Their enemy could be on the battlefield. It could be in the hospital, in the operating room. It could be in the deepest reaches of space, trying to find new worlds to colonize for the Empire. It is also about, that's why there's Klingon politicians. There are Klingon lawyers, doctors.
Klingon politicians.
Look, I mean, that's what an ambassador is. They're a politician.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've seen one in what? 3?
Star Trek 3, Star Trek 4, maybe.
I don't think we saw one in 3. We saw one in 4, and I don't remember if he shows up in 5, but he definitely shows up in 6. It's the same guy. And
yep.
It's like, you have to understand, if these guys were a bunch of, look maxing giga chads, they would have absolutely, been so one-dimensional that they would have been so boring. This is to highlight the fact that Klingons gain honor through victory, and it doesn't mean always shoving a sword through your enemy's chest.
So that's an option.
Yes, but
Yeah,
but victory through conquest is fantastic. Okay, cool. That's kind of victory. It is there, but it's not just the only way they do it. And Jaden is a fantastic way to carry on that concept and to underscore it.
Yep.
No, I love Jaden as a character in this so far. I think
he is great.
And his character is just that bit more compelling now, understanding his backstory and the complexities around all of that. I thought this episode overall was great. It was one of my favorite ones, apart from the fact that it made the Doctor for the first time actually say a swear. Because nobody actually picked up on that line. Speech and debate is not chicken shit.
I did.
Well, we haven't talked about it. But overall, the other thing to mention as well, that was the thing, just referring back to my notes, is the Klingon text at the start of the episode. Thought that was brilliant. It was a lovely little Easter egg. But it set us up for what was ultimately going to be all about Klingon episode, which I thought it just set it off from the start, didn't it? But overall, I thought it was a really good episode. Really enjoyed it.
So that's our review of the 4th episode of Starfleet Academy. Did we get it right? Did we get anything wrong? Did we miss anything? Do you agree or disagree? Let us know.
Thank you for joining us here on Treknicity, where we wonder as we wonder. through the Star Trek multiverse. I'm your host, Patrick.
I'm Kat.
I'm James.
And I'm Lars.
Be sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Treknicity.com, as well as visiting all of our socials listed here, or find us on your favorite podcast service, such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music. If you have any ideas for future episodes, feel free to drop a comment in videos or DM us directly on any of our social media accounts, except for Kat, who doesn't like to be DM'd for some reason because she's weird.
Yeah, I don't like answering DMs.
And as always, rock out with your Spock out. See you next time.